This is Maths Genie's 2018 Practice Paper 1. If you want to look at the paper, go to mathsgenie.co.uk and go into the resources section. Question 1. The average daytime temperature for 10 days is recorded. A shop also records its ice cream sales for each of those 10 days, and it's shown on the scatter graph. What type of correlation is this? Well, correlation is either positive or negative. This is all going up to from the bottom left to the top right, so this is a positive correlation. On the 11th day, the temperature was 12 degrees. Estimate the number of ice cream sales on the 11th day. Well, to do this, we need a line of best fit. So a line of best fit should be a nice straight line through all the middle. You don't need to go through the origin. A lot of people think you do, but you don't need to go through the origin. It just needs to fit as best as you possibly can. And then we go to 12 degrees C. Now you've got to be careful on here. We've got 11 degrees there and 12 degrees there. So each two little squares is worth 1 degree. And we go up to our line as accurately as you can and read off. And again, be careful with this scale. We've got 120, 110, 120, 130, 140. Now, because you're using a line of best fit, you'll be allowed a range of answers there, but as long as you draw a line of best fit, you'll get the marks. It says the shop's manager wants to use a scatter graph to predict the ice cream sales for a day with an average temperature of 2 degrees. Comment on the reliability. Well, it's not reliable at all because there's no data down as low as 2 degrees. So just write it simple as that. So it is not reliable as there is no data as low as 2 degrees C. Question 2. We've got a triangle here which is split into two triangles. We've got a large triangle which is here, and we've got a smaller triangle here. It says find the length of DE, so we're after this length here. Okay, so I'm going to start off by splitting up my triangles just so I can see them. If they're overlaid like that and we've got the same angle here, then we know that these are going to be similar triangles, so we can look for a scale factor. So the base of that one is 4 and the base of that one is 10 because that's 6 add 4. So to get from 10 to 4, 10 divided by 4 is 2.5. So it is, the bigger triangle is 2.5 times bigger. Now we're after this distance here, and we know that this is 7.5. So to go that way, we're going to divide by 2.5, and 7.5 divided by 2.5 is 3 centimetres. It says find the length of DC, which is this distance here. So we've got in the smaller triangle, it's a right angled triangle because we've got the right angle there. We know that the base is 4, and we now know that the height is 3. So we can use Pythagoras to work out this. And Pythagoras says the hypotenuse squared is equal to the two smaller sides squared and added together. So x will be the square root of 3 squared plus 4 squared, which is square root of 25, which is just 5. Question 3, Stevie has some marbles, Freddie has twice as many marbles, and Danny has 5 more marbles than Freddie. In total, there are 55 marbles. How many does Danny have? Well, as soon as we're told that we don't know how many somebody's got, we'll call that X. So Stevie has X marbles, Freddie has twice as many as Stevie, so that would be 2X, and Danny has 5 more than Freddie. Now Freddie has 2X, and he has 5 more, so 2X plus 5. In total, so total means to add up, they have 55. So if we add all these up, we've got X, add 2X, it gives us 5X's, plus the 5 is equal to 55 marbles. Now we've got an equation we can solve, so just take 5 from both sides, we get 5x is 50, and then divide by 5, we get x is 10. Now x being 10 tells us how many Stevie's got, because Stevie had x marbles. So to work out how many Danny had 2x plus 5, so we need to do 2 lots of 10 plus 5, which would be 25 marbles. Question 4, Rachel drives 300 miles from London to Newcastle. She drives the first 165 miles at an average speed of 60 miles per hour. Now, straight away, 60 miles per hour is a really nice speed because that means 1 mile per minute. From this point, it takes Rachel 3 hours and 15 minutes to complete a journey. What is Rachel's average speed for the entire journey? Well, to work out the average speed for the entire journey, we need to do speed equals distance over time. We've got the distance, that's 300. The time, we've only got part of the time, so we need to work out the time for the first part. Now 165 miles in 160 miles per hour. 60 miles per hour is 1 mile a minute, so that'll take 165 minutes to do that first part of the journey, which is 2 hours 45 minutes. Add that to the 3 hours and 15. So we've got 3 hours 15 plus the 2 hours 45. That gives us 6 hours in total. So we now have the total time. So the total distance was 300 miles. The total time was 6 hours. So that would be 50 miles per hour. If it wasn't 60 miles per hour for the first bit, the best way to do it would be to do 165 divided by 60 and leave that as a fraction. There are 2 60s in 160, remainder 45. And then that fraction will tell you what fraction of an hour it is. So 45 out of 60 is 2 hours and 45. So that would be a good way of doing it if it wasn't out of 60. It says, in a sale, normal prices are reduced by 25%. Freddie bought a car in the sale, and the sale price of the car was £7,500. Work out the normal price. Well, there's 2 ways of doing this. The easiest way to do it without a calculator is to say that £7,500 is 75% of the original price. Now we want 100%. So I'm going to divide both of those by 3. And that'll give me £2,500 is 25%. And then I'm going to times both of those by 4, because that'll give me £10,000 for 100%. So the answer is £10,000. Now, if we were doing this with a calculator, and you can do it this method without a calculator as well, I would say the original price was X. You would times that by 0.75 to get the 7,500. So X would be 7,500 divided by 0.75. And to do, if you struggle with that bit, if you times top and bottom by 100, you get that on the top and that on the bottom. And then 75 divided by 75 is just 1, and you've got your 4 zeros. So you get your £10,000 again. So if you're good with number, then I would stick to using one method, but this method is really easy. Question 6, it says the distance from Earth to Mars is approximately 7.834 times 10 to the 10 metres. The distance from Earth to Neptune is approximately 4.3514 times 10 to the 12 metres. Estimate how many times further away Neptune is from Earth than Mars is from Earth. So if these were just normal numbers that weren't in standard form, we'd just divide them into each other to see how many times further it was. And that's exactly what we do here. Now, because it's an estimate, we round to one significant figure. So this would round to 8 times 10 to the 10. And this would round to 4 times 10 to the 12. So if we do the biggest one divided by the smallest one, that should give us how many times further it is. Now 4 divided by 8 is 0.5, and 10 to the 12 divided by 10 to the 10 is 10 to the 2. Now 10 to the 2 just means times by 10 twice, so that would be 0.5, 5, and then 50 times further. It says, is your answer to part A an underestimate or an overestimate? And give a reason. Well, it's going to be an underestimate. And the reason for that is that the top has rounded down, which would make our answer smaller, and the bottom has rounded up, which again, divided by a bigger number, would make it smaller still, so it's going to make it an underestimate. So to explain that, you would say the numerator, so the top number, rounded down, and the denominator, the bottom number, rounded up. Question 7, it says, write 240 is a product of prime factors, so we need to do a prime factor tree. So 240, you can start off however you like, but it's nice and easy to do 24 times 10. 24 is 4 times 6, or you can do 2 times 12, whichever one you wanted. 4 is 2 times 2, 2 is prime, so we can stop there. 6 is 2 times 3, both of those are prime, and 10 is 2 times 5, both of those are prime. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 2's, so that's 2 to the power 4, times 3, times 5. Question 8. 2 maths classes, Class A and Class B, took a test. The mean score of the 18 students in Class A was 50%, and the mean score of 22 students in Class B was 70%. What was the mean score for all 40 students? So to work out the mean, we need to know what all the students' scores added up to, and then divide by 40. Now, to work out what the first 18 students added up to, we can do 18 times 50. Now, 18 times 50, 10 times 50 is 500, 8 times 50 is 400, so that would be 900. So, even though we don't know the individual students' marks, we know that when we add up all those students, they add up to 900. Same for the second one. There's 22 students, each getting an average of 70. So 22 times 70, well, 10 times 70 is 700, another 700, another 70, and another 70 for 22 lots. That will be 1,540. So altogether, if we add those together, we get 2,440. And we want to divide that by 40 because there were 40 students. So 2,440 is a total score from both classes. Divide by 40. Well, I'm going to divide through by 10 first so I can cancel those out. So 244 divided by 4. To do that, I'm going to use the bush shelter method. So how many 4s into 2? There are none. Carry a 2. How many 4s into 24? There are 6. And how many 4s into 4? There are 1. So it's 61%. Question 9. It says the times of 15 students running a race are recorded below. Draw a box plot. So a box plot starts with the lowest value. Now you've got to be careful with the scale again here. So if you look, there's 2 little squares per one. So 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. So 52 is going to be on this line here. The top line is 75, so that will go on this line here. We then need to find the middle number, so it's 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That will be in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 60 is the median score. To find the lower quartile, it's the middle of the bottom half. So we've got 3 there, 1 in the middle, and 3 there. So the lower quartile will be 55. And then we've got 3 there, lower quartile, and 3 there. So that will be 64. And be careful again, 2 squares per one. So your box plot should look like that. Question 10. In a cinema, the ratio of adults to children is 3 to 1. The ratio of boys to girls is 3 to 2. What fraction of all the pupils in this of all the people in the cinema are girls? So the key word here is fraction. So the fraction of children is 1/4 because the 1 is for the children and there's 4 altogether. And in the ratio of boys to girls, there are 2 girls out of the 5 pupils altogether. So the fraction that will be just girls will be 1/4 times 2/5, which will be 2 over 20. Sorry, over 20, cancelling down before I've written it, which will be 1 over 10. Question 11. Expand and simplify x plus 5 times x minus 3 times 2x minus 1. Well, to do this one, I would expand the first 2 brackets first. Now that will give us x times x is x squared minus 3x's plus 5x's minus 15. I've still got to times that by 2x minus 1. Just to simplify that before we carry on, we've got x squared minus 3x's plus 5x's is plus 2x's minus 15. I've still got to times that by 2x minus 1. Now I'm going to times everything through by 2x. So 2x times x squared is 2x cubed. 2x times 2x is 4x squared. And 2x times minus 15 will be minus 30x's. I'm then going to times everything through by minus 1. So that could be minus x squared minus 2x's and plus 15 because a negative times a negative is a positive. And then simplifying all that through, we've got 2x cubes, we've got 3x squareds, we've got minus 32x's, and we've got a plus 15 on the end. Question 12. Solve the inequality x squared plus 8x minus 33 is greater than 0. So we solve quadratic inequalities in the same way as just normal quadratics, but then we need to do a little bit of thinking at the end. So first of all, I'm going to factorise this. So it's going to go to x and x. To get 33 on the end, we need a number that times together to give 33 and add together to give 8. Well, 11 take 3 gives us 8, so it's going to be plus 11 and minus 3. That gives us the minus 33 in the end, and it will give us plus 8x's, and that's greater than 0. Now, this is a bit where we need to do a bit of thinking. So the whole point of solving this, so x would be either minus 11 or 3. So to make both of these brackets equal to 0, it'd have to be minus 11 or 3. That tells us that the graph would cross at -11 and at 3. That's the whole point of doing it. Now, it says it's got to be greater than 0. So when it's greater than 0, we want it to be above this line. And you can see that it's going off to the left. So it's got to be less than -11 over here. So x has got to be less than -11. And to go up here, you can see it's going off to the right over here. So x has got to be greater than 3. Question 13. Prove algebraically that the recurring decimal 0.681 recurring can be written as 15 over 22. So, first of all, write down that x is 0.6818181, showing that you know that the dots above the 8 and the 1 mean it's recurring. Then I would try and get rid of this 6 by times it by 10. So 10x would be 6.818181. I now want another decimal that's got a 0.81 after it. Okay, so I'm going to times it by 100, which would give me 1,000 x's, and that gives me 681.818181. And again, that gives me this 0.81 after it. So when I take these two away from each other, I'll end up with 990 x's, and 681 take away 6 is 675, and the 0.81s will disappear. And that's the whole point of doing that bit. So to work out x, divide by 990, so we get that. Now, we've just got to cancel down now, okay? Now, we're going to use a little bit of a trick here. If you add the digits together and they are divisible by 3, then it will divide by 3. So 6 add 7 is 13, add 5 is 18, so that is divisible by 3, and 990 is obviously divisible by 3. So if we divide both of those by 3, I will get 225 on the top, and I'll get 330 on the bottom. Both of these are now divisible by 5. 225 divided by 5 would be 45 and 66. And then both of those are divisible by 3 again, and that will get me to 15 over 22. Question 14. Make x the subject of the formula 2x plus a equals b brackets x minus 2. Well, as soon as you've got any brackets, the first thing you should do is expand those out. So 2x plus a is equal to bx minus 2b. I then want to get all the x on the same side, so I'm going to leave the 2x over here. I'm going to take off the bx from that side. I'm going to take the a over the side, it will become a minus a, and I'll be left with that. I can then factorise the x out the left-hand side to give me that. And then to get x on its own, I just divide by the brackets. So minus a minus 2b all over 2 minus b. Question 15. ABCD is a parallelogram. E is the point where the diagonals AD and BC meet. Prove that triangle ACE and triangle BDE are congruent. So ACE is this one here, and BDE is this one here. So proving that these two are congruent. Well, first of all, they're a parallelogram, so this side and this side are going to be the same. So AC is equal to BD as opposites sides in a parallelogram are equal. I can then say that this angle here and this angle here are equal, because if we've got a parallelogram, these are parallel sides, so they're alternate angles. So angle CAE is equal to angle EDB as alternate angles are equal. And also this angle here and this angle here are alternate as well. So angle ACE is equal to angle EBD, again as alternate angles are equal. Now we just need to finish off with what this means. So triangle ACE is equal to triangle BDE. These are congruent as they are angle side angle triangles, ASA triangles. Question 16. Prove that the sum of the squares of two consecutive odd numbers is always 2 more than a multiple of 8. Now, quite a mouthful there, but if you just follow it through, doing it bit by bit, it's quite easy. So, first of all, we need an odd number. So, an odd number is always 1 more than an even number. So, an even number would be 2 times anything. And if you add 1 to it, that will always be odd. And it says we've got to square it and add it to the next odd number after it. So, the next odd number after it would be 2n plus 3. Okay? So, all this means is we've got 2n plus 1 times 2n plus 1. I want to add to that 2n plus 3 times 2n plus 3. If we expand those out, we get 4n squared plus 4n plus 1, just simplifying that before I write it down, plus 4n squared plus 12n plus 9. Okay, I've missed out the simplifying step there. And if we put all that together, we get 8n squareds plus 16n plus 10. Now, it might not be quite obvious what to do, but it says always 2 more than a multiple of 8. So a multiple of 8 will always have a factor of 8 in it, and 2 more means we need to add 2 on the end. So from this, we can rewrite 10 as 8 add 2. So 8n squared plus 16n plus 8 plus 2. Then you can see that all of these are a multiple of 8 now. So we could pull a factor of 8 out, and that would give us this plus 2. So we just need to write down what that means. So therefore, they are always 2 more than a multiple of 8. Question 17. Find the value of 64 over 125 to the power of minus 2/3. So first of all, the minus means find the reciprocal, and that means when it's a fraction, flip it upside down. So I'm going to do that bit first, and we'll be left with that. The 2 means to square it, and the 3 means to cube root it. So we're going to find the cube root of 125 and then square it. And we're going to find the cube root of 64 and then square it. So the cube root of 125 is 5, and the cube root of 64 is 4. And 5 squared is 25, and 4 squared is 16. So 25 over 16. Question 18. C is inversely proportional to D. When C is 15, D is 4. Find the value of C when D is 12. So first of all, let's write down what it says. So C is proportional to the inverse of D. So put in the constant of proportionality, we say C is equal to K over D. Substitute the numbers in. We have 15 is equal to K over 4. So 15 times 4 is 60, and that gives us K. So then we've got our formula is C equals 60, which was K over D. And then we just need to put our value for D is 12, so 60 over 12, so C would be 5. Question 19, simplify fully all of that surds there. So you must show your full working out. So we've just got 2 sets of brackets we need to expand, and actually, even though it looks really complicated, a lot of it will cancel out. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit here. So 4 times 4 would give us 16. Then we've got 4 lots of minus 2 root 3s, gives us minus 8 root 3s. Then we've got plus 8 root 3s, and as you can see, those will now cancel. And then we've got 2 root 3 times minus 2 root 3, so it's going to be minus. 2 times 2 is 4, and root 3 times root 3 is just 3, so 4 times 3 is 12. So I'll just put that up there in case you struggle with that. That's just the same as 2 times 2 times root 3 times root 3. This is 4, this is 3, so you get 12. So as you can see, it simplifies down to just being 4 on the top, which is really, really good. And on the bottom, we've still got that root 11. Don't forget to write that root 11 over there as well. Now, to simplify fully, we need to rationalise the denominator as well. So if we times top and bottom by the same as the bottom, so root 11, that'll give us 4 root 11 on the top, and root 11 times root 11 is just 11, and that would be as simple as we can get it. 4 root 11 over 11. Question 20. It says there are 6 red counters and 3 blue counters in a bag. Joe takes at random a counter from the bag and does not replace it, so that's really important. He then takes at random a second counter from the bag, calculate the probability that Joe has one counter of each colour. So either a red then a blue or a blue then a red. So drawing a tree diagram, probability of having a red first would be 6 out of 9. The probability of getting a blue first would be 3 out of 9. Now, if you've pulled a red out first, there'll be one more red in the bag. One less red in the bag. So there now want to be 5 reds and there want to be 8 counters altogether. But there'll still be those 3 blues, but only out of 8. If you pull a blue out first, the reds will now be 6 out of 8, because you've still got the original 6, but there's only 8 in there. And the blues would be now down to 2 out of the 8. So we'll have to have a red then blue, or blue then red. So after these two here, you multiply along the branches of a fraction tree, of a probability tree. So 6 times 3 is 18, and 9 times 8 is 72. And for this one, you would do 3 times 6 is 18, and 9 times 8 is 72 again. And then when you've got, so we want this one to happen and this one to happen, so we're going to use the AND rule, that's how we multiplied. This one and this one to happen, that's how we multiplied again. But we're not bothered if we have this one or this one. So we're going to add these together, so that's the OR rule. So that will give us 36 out of 72, which cancels down to a half. Question 21. Solve the simultaneous equations x squared plus y squared equals 26 and 2x minus y equals 3. So, first things first, I'm going to rearrange this. I'm going to take the y on that side. I'm going to take the 3 on that side to give us 2x minus 3 is equal to y. That gives us the y being positive. And I now know what y is, so I can put that into here in place of the y. And the y was squared, and that gives us 26. So if I expand these brackets now, 2x minus 3, so we've got the x squared at the front, 2x times 2x is 4x squared, minus 6x's, minus 6x's, and plus 9, and that would be equal to 26. If we simplify that through, we get 5x squared minus 12x, and take the 26 off, we get minus 17 equals 0. Now that looks really complicated to factorise, but because these are prime, it makes it really easy. So we've got to have a 5x and an x, and we've got to have a 17 and a 1 here. Now, if we do 17 opposite to the 5x's, we're going to end up with a lot of x's, which we don't have. So the 17 has got to go there, and the 1 has got to go there. And we want the 1 to be positive, because that gives us plus 5x's, and the 17 to be negative, because that gives us minus 17x's, which leaves us with a minus 12x's. So x is either going to be minus 1 by making this bracket equal to 0, or it's going to have to be 17 over 5, because 17 over 5 times 5, when you put it into this bit here, will give us just 17. That's how we make that bracket equal to 0. When x is equal to minus 1, if we substitute that into this here, because that's the easiest one to do to work out what y is, we do 2 lots of minus 1, take 3 to work out y. So that's minus 2, take 3, y would be minus 5. And if x is 17 over 5, again substituting that in, 2 lots of 17 over 5, take 3. So 2 lots of 17 is 34 over 5. 34 over 5 is 6 4/5. Take 3 is 3 4/5. So when x is minus 1, or it can be 17 over 5, then y would be minus 5 or 3 4/5. Or you could leave that as an improper fraction, whichever way around you want it. Question 22. The line L is a tangent to the circle x squared plus y squared equals 29 at the point A. A is the point 25. The line L crosses the x-axis at the point C. Work out the area of the triangle OAC. So, if we've got the equation of a circle, we've got the circle here, there, the centre is O. At this point 25 here, we've got a tangent to the circle. This is point C over here. Up here is point A, that's at 25. So we need to figure out this point C, because we know the height of the triangle is 5. We just need to know where C is to work out the base of the triangle. So we've got the area of it. So our triangle OAC is this triangle here. We need the base, which is this distance here, times the height, which is this distance here. All right. So we've got the height is 5. We just need to work out the base. So the gradient of OA is 5 divided by 2. So difference in y divided by the difference in x is 5 over 2. AC, which is this line here, so AC is perpendicular, so that's going to have a gradient of the negative reciprocal, so that'd be minus 2 over 5, sorry, x plus or minus c. So once we've got the gradient of AC, we can now substitute our numbers 2 and 5 in. So when y is 5, x is 2, and we can work out c from that. So we've got 5 is equal to minus 4/5 plus or minus c. So take the 4/5 on the other side, it'll be 5 and 4/5. So c must be 5 and 4/5. So our equation is y equals minus 2/5 x plus, plus, not plus or minus, it's a plus, 5 and 4/5. Once we've got that, we know that this point here is where this line, which we've just worked out the equation of, is where y equals 0. So if we put this equal to 0, we've got minus 2/5 x plus 5 and 4/5. Take the 2/5 x on the other side, we have 2/5 x is equal to 5 and 4/5. Now, to work out that, I'm just going to go up here. You're going to take the 5 up there and you'll times, and you're going to take the 2 down there and you're going to divide. So I'm actually going to write this as an improper fraction. So that would be 29 over 5, just to make it that little bit easier. So 29 over 5, and we want to times the top by 5, and we want to divide by 2, so times the bottom by 2. So 29 times 5 is 145, and 5 times 2 is 10. So 145 divided by 10 is 14.5. So point C is at 14.5. So the base of this triangle, to work out the other triangle, we do half times base, which is 14.5, times by the height, which is 5. So 14.5 times 5 is 72.5, and we still need to half that, which gives us 36.25. We're not talking about centimetres or not, so just units squared, so 36.25. Question 23. OA is 2A, OB is 3B, D is the point OC such that OD and DC is in the ratio 2 to 1. So that means that this is 2/3 and this is 1/3. E is the midpoint of BC, show that ADE is on the same straight line. So to show that A to D and D to E is a straight line, we need to work out the vector of that and the vector of this and show that they are parallel, and then say that they share the point D. So first of all, to work out AD, I need to work out OC first. So OC is going from here to here. So I'm going to go up 2 A's and along here plus 3B. So OC is 2 A's, add 3B. Now, to get AD, I'm going to go down here and then up here. So that'd be minus 2 A's plus 2/3 of what we just worked out, 2A plus 3B. Because it's only going 2/3 of the way up, which gives us minus 2 A's plus 4/3 of A plus 6/3 of B. And that would simplify down to minus 2/3 of A plus 2 B's. We now need to work out DE. So DE, to get from D to E, I'm going to go up here and down here. So that would be 1/3 of 2 A's plus 3 B's. And then I need to take off that a half, because E is the midpoint, of 2 A's. And I'm taking it off because I'm going the wrong way down it. So if I simplify that out, I would have 2/3 A plus a B minus an A. And altogether that gives me minus 1/3 A plus B. So we can see that this is 1/3 A plus B and this is 2/3 A plus 2B. So it's just twice as big. So therefore AD is equal to DE times 2. They share the point D. Therefore ADE is a straight line. Question 24. Work out the value of x. So we've got all three sides and we've got an angle. So the rule that we've got to use when we've got all three sides in an angle is the cosine rule. So the cosine rule is a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos a. Now, substituting all that in, a would be the one that's opposite the angle. So we've got root 73 squared is equal to x plus 2 squared plus 2x minus 3 squared. Take away two lots of x plus 2, 2x minus 3, cos 60. Now, cos 60 is equal to a half. You need to know your exact trig values. So a half and the times by 2 will cancel each other out. Root 73 times root 73 is just 73. If we expand x plus 2 squared, we get x squared plus 4x's plus 4. If we expand 2x minus 3 squared, we would get 4x squared minus 12x plus 9. And take away, and then x plus 2 times 2x minus 3 would be 2x squared plus x minus 6. Now, I've put it in brackets because we're taking this away, so all these need to be, we need to find the negative of all of these. So when we simplify that out, we'd have 73 is equal to 3x squared, because we've got an x squared here, and 4x squared here, which is 5x squareds, but take these 2x squareds gives us 3x squareds. We've got 4x's, take 12x's is minus 8x's, and then minus another x is minus 9x's. And then we've got plus 19 on the end, because a negative and a negative makes a positive. So that's 4, add 9 is 13, add 6 will give us 19. Now, making all that equal to 0, we get 3x squared minus 9x minus 54 is equal to 0. Now, a little trick here is we can divide through by 3. These are all multiple of 3. So we'll get x squared minus 3x minus 18 is equal to 0. And that's factorisable, so that will go to x minus 6 and x plus 3, because minus 6 times 3 is minus 18 and gives us minus 3x's. So x is 6 or minus 3. Now, we can't have a negative length, so it can't be the minus 3, so it's going to be 6. And that's the end of the paper.